Does your sewing room feel a little left out during the holidays? It's easy to focus on the tree and living room, but your creative space deserves some merriment too. Why not sprinkle a little Christmas magic where the crafting happens? Simple changes can transform your sewing nook into a cozy, festive retreat. Imagine garlands made from spools, patchwork advent pockets, and cheerful bunting above your machine. Ready to stitch some holiday spirit into your favorite room? Let's get inspired. Stringing together a garland from mini spools and colorful buttons instantly brings a whimsical, festive touch to any sewing room. You don't need fancy supplies, just leftover thread, assorted buttons, and a bit of holiday spirit. Drape it across shelves for a cheerful nod to your crafting passion. Why not invite friends or family to help assemble the garland? It's a simple project, but it sparks creativity and conversation. Plus, the lightweight materials make cleanup a breeze. Just avoid overcrowding your shelves, or the garland could look cluttered instead of charming. Consider making a patchwork advent calendar for your sewing room, using fabric remnants for each pocket. Hide small notions, like buttons or thread spools inside. This turns daily countdowns into creative inspiration. Who says advent calendars are just for candy? Sewing lovers will appreciate the surprise of practical supplies each day. However, keep in mind that tiny pockets may limit what you can fit. Stick with flat or miniature items. Think thimbles, pins, or ribbon. Challenge yourself to use whatever you find that day in a project. It's functional, festive, and adds a burst of color to your workspace. Stitching a merry banner with vintage Christmas fabric adds instant nostalgia and charm to your sewing room. Choose mismatched scraps. Think bold reds, classic greens, or retro patterns. Embroider each letter onto separate pennants, then string them together. Suddenly, your creative space feels festive, personal, and ready to inspire. Don't worry if your embroidery isn't perfect. Slightly uneven stitches or quirky color combos only add to the homemade appeal. Hang the banner above your workspace. Guests will notice the unique touch and may even ask for sewing tips. Why buy generic decorations when you can make memories instead? Imagine a felt Christmas tree wall hanging right in your sewing room, sparkling with pins, bobbins, and miniature scissors. It's more than just festive. This display lets you show off your favorite sewing supplies in a playful way. Plus, it's a clever conversation starter for guests who peek inside. Creating one is simple. Cut a tree shape from green felt, tack it to the wall, then ornament it with colorful pins, shiny bobbins, and those tiny scissors you never use. This project brings holiday spirit into your workspace, though it's probably best to keep sharp items out of reach of little hands. Why toss those leftover fabric scraps when you can turn them into a vibrant wreath? Grab your brightest pieces, tie them around a wire hoop, and suddenly you've got a one-of-a-kind holiday decoration. Add a few thimbles for sparkle and tie on measuring tape bows for a quirky, sewing-inspired finish. This project doesn't call for perfection. Embrace mismatched colors and textures. It's quick, affordable, and makes clever use of odds and ends. The result? A conversation starter that reflects your passion. If you're short on thimbles, substitute with buttons or small spools for extra charm. Small quilted stockings on your thread rack add instant holiday cheer and keep things practical. Imagine reaching for a spool and finding a sweet treat or a tiny note inside. It's a simple way to surprise yourself or guests while adding a pop of color to unused corners. Making these stockings can double as a fun scrap-busting project. Use leftover fabric and experiment with patterns or textures you wouldn't risk on larger quilts. They're quick to sew, so you can finish several in an afternoon. Just beware, friends may borrow them when you're not looking. Fairy lights strung along a pegboard can change the atmosphere of any sewing room instantly. Their gentle glow highlights rows of vibrant thread spools and quirky buttons. Why settle for dim corners? A simple string of lights brings warmth and a hint of magic to even the most practical workspace. Some might worry about clutter, but fairy lights actually draw attention to your organized supplies. Use clothespins to attach Christmas cards or tiny ornaments among your tools. This setup is festive, functional, and easy to adjust. Let your creativity shine. Your sewing room deserves a little sparkle too. Who says your sewing space can't feel festive? Stringing red and green fabric bunting above your sewing table instantly brings warmth and cheer. Scraps from past projects work perfectly, no need for perfection. The playful flags flutter, setting a merry mood while you stitch gifts or wrap up last-minute projects. Hanging bunting isn't just about looks. It's a clever way to use leftover fabric and personalize your space. Try mixing patterns, think polka dots, stripes, or holiday prints. If you want easy cleanup, use mini clothespins instead of sewing the flags directly to string. Functional and festive, what's not to love? Christmas-themed pin cushions shaped like trees, stars, and candy canes instantly bring festive cheer into your sewing room. Imagine reaching for pins and being greeted by a sparkling felt star or a striped candy cane cushion. These small additions add color, warmth, and a hint of whimsy to your workspace. Making your own is simple. Use leftover fabric, some buttons, and a bit of stuffing. Quick tip: attach a ribbon loop to hang them when not in use. They're both cute and practical. On the downside, intricate shapes may be trickier to sew, but the results are worth the effort. Hang embroidery hoops with holiday designs on your sewing room wall for instant cheer. Choose bold patterns, think snowflakes, trees, or classic red and green. Group hoops in clusters for a gallery look. No need to be a perfectionist. A little asymmetry keeps it lively and personal. Swapping out hoop embroidery is simple. Each season, refresh your display with new fabric or motifs. This keeps your space fresh and inviting without major fuss or expense. Plus, it's a great way to show off your handiwork to anyone who stops by. Think about those empty mason jars collecting dust. Fill them with red, white, and green buttons for an instant holiday touch. This simple trick adds cheer without breaking the bank. Place jars on shelves or line them up on your windowsill. It's festive, functional, and surprisingly charming. You might worry it looks too homespun, but here's the secret. Group jars in threes, add a ribbon, and suddenly it's Pinterest-worthy. Plus, you're keeping buttons organized and visible. Isn't that the dream for every sewing enthusiast? Give it a try. Your workspace will thank you. Personalized fabric gift tags brighten any sewing room, especially when strung along twine with mini clothespins. Imagine each tag cut from leftover scraps, polka dots, florals, or tartans, bearing names or festive greetings. It's crafty, decorative, and practical. Why settle for generic paper tags when you can show your handiwork? Making these tags is simple. Stitch or glue two fabric pieces together, add a felt backing for sturdiness, and use a fabric marker for names. Clip them up for instant color and personality. The only real downside? You might find yourself making extra just because they're fun. Classic plaid or gingham fabric slipcovers add instant holiday cheer to your sewing space. These patterns evoke cozy winter vibes, turning a basic chair into a festive focal point. You can easily swap them out after the season. Why not use leftover fabric scraps? It's functional, cheerful, and budget-friendly. However, fabric slipcovers may shift if not secured well. Nobody wants a slip and slide mid-project. Add ties or elastic for a snug fit. Choose cotton blends for easy washing, especially if your sewing table doubles as a snack station. With little effort, you create a warm, inviting nook for winter creativity. Sewing festive pillow covers with applique trees and snowflakes brings instant cheer to any sewing room. Choose vibrant fabric scraps for your trees. Think bold reds or quirky plaids. Stitching felt snowflakes? Surprisingly easy, even for beginners. Why buy generic decor when you can make something that sparks conversation and pride? Don't forget practicality. Removable covers mean you can swap them out after the holidays, keeping things fresh year-round. If you're worried about time, stick with simple shapes and zigzag stitches. The result? Cozy, personalized pillows that feel inviting without the headache of tackling overly complex designs. Old sewing pattern envelopes don't have to gather dust. Frame them as festive wall art for a cozy, nostalgic touch. Their retro illustrations and bold fonts bring character to your sewing room while also sparking conversation. Want extra charm? Add a red ribbon or some glitter for a holiday twist. Repurposing these envelopes is cost-effective and eco-friendly. Dig through thrift stores or your own stash for patterns with wintry outfits or cheerful colors. This approach saves money and reduces waste. Plus, it celebrates the creativity that's already woven into your space. Why buy generic decor when you can showcase your crafty roots? Sprucing up your creative space with these sewing room Christmas decor ideas adds warmth, color, and a personal stamp to every stitch you make. Why settle for ordinary when a few scraps and a dash of imagination can spark so much holiday cheer? Try one or two ideas, or go all in. There's no right or wrong. Your sewing room can glow with festive charm and bits of your story. Ready to turn those sewing supplies into merry accents? The scissors are calling.